What shape is the Earth, really? Some people believe the Earth is flat. Not metaphorically flat, like when you say your hometown is boring and uneventful. Literally flat, like a giant pancake floating in space. They argue that instead of a round planet, we live on a flat disk with the North Pole at the center and an enormous ice wall, aka Antarctica, around the edges, stopping us from falling off. Some even claim that NASA is faking every image of Earth and that astronauts are part of an elaborate hoax to keep the truth hidden. And if that sounds wild to you, it gets weirder. Some flat earthers argue that gravity doesn't exist, and instead, the Earth is accelerating upwards at 9.8 meters per second to create the illusion of gravity. Others believe we live under a dome, a firmament holding the sky in place, trapping the sun, moon, and stars inside like a cosmic snow globe. Now, let's set aside the conspiracy theories for a moment and ask the real question: what does science actually say? First, we have known the Earth is round for over 2000 years. The ancient Greeks figured it out long before space travel, satellites, and NASA even existed. One of the most famous pieces of evidence comes from Eratosthenes, a Greek mathematician who, in 240 BCE, measured the angle of shadows cast by sticks in two different cities at the same time. The difference in shadow length only made sense if Earth was curved. Using this information, he even calculated the planet's circumference with surprising accuracy. Then there is the lunar eclipse test. When the Earth passes between the Sun and the Moon, it casts a shadow on the Moon's surface, and that shadow always curved. No matter where you are on the planet, the shadow of Earth on the Moon is round. If the Earth were a flat disk, we'd expect different shadow shapes, depending on the angle of the eclipse. We also have time zones, which only make sense on a curved surface. If Earth were flat, the sun should rise and set at the same time for everyone. Instead, different parts of the Earth experience daylight at different times because Earth is rotating. If you've ever called someone in another country and realized they're still asleep while it's broad daylight for you, congratulations. You have personally experienced proof of Earth's roundness. Then there's the horizon effect. If Earth were flat, you could, in theory, see impossibly far distances. Instead, ships disappear bottom first over the horizon as they sail away, and the higher up you go, the farther you can see. This only happens because the Earth curves away from your line of sight. And let's not forget modern satellite imagery, space travel, and physics, all of which confirm Earth's shape over and over again. So, case closed, right? Earth is round. Except not exactly, because it turns out Earth isn't a perfect sphere either. If you were imagining a flawless, symmetrical globe spinning in space, I have some mildly disappointing news. The Earth is actually slightly squished, a shape called an oblate spheroid. It's wider at the equator and slightly flattened at the poles. The difference is small, but it exists because of Earth's rotation. As it spins, centrifugal force pushes outward, causing the equator to bulge by about 42 kilometers, more than the distance from pole to pole. So, how do we know this? Gravity measurements show slight variations in strength at different latitudes. Satellites and space observations confirm the slight equatorial bulge. The Coriolis effect, which affects ocean currents and wind patterns, behaves exactly as it should for an oblate spheroid. So, to recap, the Earth isn't flat. We've known that for thousands of years. But it isn't a perfect sphere either. It's a little chubby in the middle. So, if a flat earther ever asks you what shape the planet is, you can confidently say, not flat, but also technically not round. Got a weird midnight question keeping you up? Drop it in the comments and maybe it'll be featured in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep wondering. I'm Mari and this is Midnight Question.